Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great out there as the week progresses. We got our Watchmen update. This one has a whole bunch of important news items that may affect you in the near term, affecting a whole bunch of Americans for sure. We got a few things on the docket here. We got Hollywood squirming after the Trump administration announces major tariffs on U.S. studios. So it might impact your movies, or if you're in the film Actors Guild, this may impact you as well. The Houthis declare an air blockade of Israel. They're using their missiles to basically threaten any kind of aircraft that try to land in Israel, and we're talking about civilian airliners. It's been a while since terrorist groups went after civilian airlines, isn't it? Yeah, that might impact things. And how's the military base along the United States, U.S.-Mexico border going? And we're seeing the first batch of trespassers facing federal charges. Air traffic controller at one of America's biggest airports issues a chilling warning to passengers and basically saying, don't go to that airport, it's not safe. You need to be aware of this. Like I said, it's one of the biggest. Construction work is way down. A report coming in from a Watchman in the community. If you have something that you'd like to share with the community, make sure you use that word update somewhere in your comment. That does get it to the right place. All right, let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They make these videos possible, particularly these updates. And if you want to get out of stocks, bonds, and other things you don't fully understand, to get physical metals that you can hold in your hand. Jonathan and his team would love to talk to you about that, answer your questions, and educate you and see if it's a good fit for you. If so, you can move forward with them because they are trustworthy type folks. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. They've helped a lot of the people in this community already, and they found them to be super helpful. All right, let's see what we got here. Disney, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Paramount, and Comcast, all their stocks falling a lot yesterday after President Trump announced a foreign film tariff of 100%. Turns out it's going to hit the U.S. studios pretty hard. Initially, people thought this is going to protect the studios here in America and help them to flourish, but they do so much work overseas in other countries, it's going to be pretty bad for them, actually. U.S. studios will have to pay these massive tariffs in order to get their films out because, quite frankly, these days they outsource so much work to other countries, as well as they film a lot overseas. So Hollywood is not liking this tariff at all, and it's kind of glorious. All right, the Houthi terrorists threaten complete air blockade of Israel. They're using their missiles. One of the missiles hit the Ben Gurion International Airport, which is the main airport for Israel going in and out, and outside Tel Aviv, and it is not looking good. A lot of foreign airlines have already pulled all of their service to Israel. So mostly the only way to get into Israel now is through an Israeli carrier. And that seems to be kind of the point. They may launch other missiles in order to effect that blockade. Israel is already hitting back against the Houthis and is threatening to, they went after Hodeidah. They sent a bunch of fighters over there to destroy the port in Hodeidah. And then they also are saying that they're going to go after Iran. Not sure what that looks like, but it is big news out there. All right, President Trump's fiscal year 2026 budget proposal cuts $468 million from the ATF, which is good because that's not money well spent. You got to ask yourself the question, what in the world was the ATF doing with $468 million in the first place? They weren't helping freedom, that's for sure. 82 unpermitted, read between the lines here, unpermitted visitors to the U.S. have been prosecuted now for entering the newly created military zone along the New Mexico border. So that was one of the reasons why they created this, the Roosevelt Reservation, turning that into a military base so that anyone who crosses it will be technically trespassing on a U.S. military base and can be prosecuted for that. Then they can also then be charged with evading law enforcement if they flee from soldiers or from Border Patrol. Also allows U.S. military personnel to detain people on the border because it is inside their military base until law enforcement comes for them. So the U.S. military is now able to detain people, zip cuff them, put them on the ground, or handcuff. I'm not sure if they use handcuffs or what, but that is already starting to work. The Trump administration says it will pay permitted individuals in the United States $1,000 to leave. If they just leave, they get the $1,000 once it's confirmed that if they use the CBP app and it confirms that they have now arrived outside the country, they get the $1,000 for having deported themselves. One has to ask the question whether there will be any abuse of this system whatsoever. Because, I don't know, can you make $1,000 by deporting your phone? I mean, if the phone gives you $1,000 once it's outside the country, you got to ask yourself the question, is there going to be somebody picking up a whole bunch of phones, taking them across the border, or flying out of the country with them, and then collecting all this money? I'm sure there's going to be protections in there to keep it from happening, but interesting, let's just say it that way. But hopefully it does encourage people who are on the fence about going home, that they will indeed go home. Of their own, people going home of their own free accord is, I think, the best case scenario, according to most people. All right, federal air safety employee and also a air traffic controller at Newark Airport in New York, New Jersey technically, warned Americans to avoid Newark at all costs. After more than 20% of the Federal Aviation Administration controllers walked off the job. So 20% of the air traffic controllers just decided to leave. They're just done with the job because of their reasons. They left the air traffic controlling station there massively short-staffed, unable to keep, as they say, it is not safe. It is not a safe situation right now for the flying public. This is a quote from them. Newark is unequipped to handle the volume of usual flights with these staffing shortages. And it's leading to delays and flight cancellations and people being bused from Newark Airport to other airports. It's crazy. And it's like they said, it's not just an inconvenience, it's downright unsafe because they don't have enough safety personnel in the tower to make sure that airplanes are going where they need to go. SDB says, Indiana, all digital payments from my bank were not paying out. Everyone I paid was freaking out, reaching out to me saying that they haven't been paid yet, even though they pulled money from the account. So my bank is having issues reporting money going out when it hasn't yet. Umbra Shadow Gaming says, my wife went to the hospital yesterday and there were signs by all the shops there and the cafeteria saying as of May 6th, they would no longer be taking cash. I'm near Phoenix, Arizona. You imagine going to the hospital and you're trying to buy some food because your loved one's in there and you try to buy something and they're like, nope, we don't accept cash. Just cards. That's happening more and more out there. Arizona, says, I'm a superintendent in Phoenix, Arizona. I do HVAC heating and cooling, right, for multifamily construction. In the past month, I've had to lay off 15 people due to slow work and lack of contracts. It's going to get tougher. Better get prepared out there. Stay positive and look to God. Kelly says, Jupiter, Florida. One of the best hospitals in the area is still having issues getting saline. We're still not clearing that whole backlog of IV bags yet. I went to see a friend of mine, and he was telling me that he was having trouble getting it because the supply is very low. Peculiar says, I went to Crystal when I went to a doctor appointment last month. That's a restaurant, right? It was usually a twice-a-year treat to grab a Crystal burger. I usually get the meal with 4 sliders, small drink, and fries. In the last 2 years, it went from $6 to $9, but last time I stopped in, the 4-slider meal, $9 meal, had been reduced to a 3-slider meal. It was now $11.99. I told the lady that there's no way that I would pay $12 for that. I left and won't be back. So 2 years ago, it was half the price. Half the price. That's how much purchasing power you've lost in these last 2 years. The prices have doubled, the quality is horrible, and the service is terrible as well. I would rather eat a PB&J at home than eat out anywhere, just because of the service, right? Record profits on our backs. Those days are over. Record profits are unsustainable. It can't go on forever. They can't just keep making more money for the same services. Everything they do to save money is going to hurt them worse, and they did it to themselves. It's time for the giants to fall so some level-headed people can do honest business again. It's true, but do you know what is involved in you opening a restaurant? Right? I mean, that's what it really is. The red tape to actually opening a restaurant is so massive that only giant corporations can actually cut through the red tape and actually open a decent restaurant, right? Especially to do an economy of scale where you have a distribution network. It's a massive undertaking that only corporations can really do these days, at least in the United States. Other countries, you see, that was one of the things I noticed in Spain when I was hiking on the Camino. There were no chain restaurants. Everything was a mom and pop restaurant. Interesting. They were all family-owned restaurants. There was just like McDonald's and Burger King and like Taco Bell, maybe a KFC's. But those were just in the main cities. Like if you went into the towns, villages, smaller cities, you can't find anything except for non-chain restaurants. Interesting. Tracy says, I had my brakes and rotors replaced yesterday. Also got new battery cables. My bill was $1,742. The car repair place used to be a small local business and has been bought out by a corporation. My mechanic and shop manager, who I've used for over 10 years, told me that everything goes up 30% on May 10th. I'm going to buy tires before then. My estimate for the tires was over $1,200. Find a good shop nearby, a local family-owned shop if possible, right? Surface says, when Costco puts a star on something, that means they're not going to restock it. It's Saturday evening and I just got back from Costco. A lot of things that came from China have a star on them. Rose says, I've been using the same brand toothpaste for many years, Crest. But the last few tubes I bought, the tubes had more air than toothpaste. A bunch of you guys are reporting about that, aren't you? E says, Central Pennsylvania, went to Dollar General. I was wandering, so saw the charcoal section. There was one sign that said $6. Multiple types of bags. I grabbed the Kingston regular charcoal 12-pound bag. I took 8, got to the register. They rang up $20 a piece. I took the clerk back to the shelf and showed her the sign. She proceeded to educate me that the $6 was under the match light only. Oh well, I said, please put these away and I left the store. I don't know about you guys. That's a pet peeve of mine as well, just them not putting up signs for prices. Dr. Holistic Hippie says businesses aren't the only ones done. Yesterday we went to the 28-mile yard sale in central Mississippi, but it felt lonely. Where were the shoppers? Well, they don't have any money left. That's where they are. I couldn't believe it because there are usually so many people there that's usually difficult finding parking spots, but not so much anymore. Renee says several credit unions in Northeast Ohio went down last Saturday through Tuesday morning. That's not a short period of time. Coincidentally, same day as the power outage in Portugal and Spain. It wasn't the internet, but the provider of mainframe services. So the power outage there impacted services around the world. We are one big network these days. Sharon says, regarding applesauce, don't depend on store applesauce if you can. If possible, make your own. Purchase some apples from the local farmer's market or markets when in season and cook down either with water or apple cider. Pour the soft apples through the food mill. Can or freeze the sauce, look up directions, but it's not difficult. I've been doing this for almost 50 years. You don't need sugar. The applesauce is wonderful just as is. It's much better than the store applesauce. You can control the content. FYI, some apples make better applesauce than others. I've done my research and just kind of found it out by doing. Good work. Sweet and Spicy One says a few ideas on saving while eating out. If you do, find places that offer lunchtime prices cheaper than dinner time prices. That's good. Happy hours offer some good deals for sure. Some of them are drinks, some of them are food, right? Senior citizen prices. Some restaurants let children eat free with a paying adult certain days of the week. Get on their email list and sign up for birthday and anniversary emails. You don't have to actually use your email on your birthday sometimes. Check to see if that's one of those restaurants where they check your ID or whatever. But a lot of times you'll get a free entree, appetizer, or dessert on your birthday, or a buy one, get one free meal. Sign up everywhere you can. Places that are okay, like Denny's, I'm not sure if they still offer the Grand Slam on your birthday, but they do have historically, right? All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report out.